Hello. We're starting a new series today, by the way, and that is about author life. And I'm planning to get a lot of people who would, hey, hello, hello. I'm just gonna wave at all of you. So we're gonna be talking to a dear friend of mine about her book, and we're just gonna wait for her to sort of join in. Um, Thank you. Hey Sam. So yeah, like I was saying, this is a new series I'm gonna do. It's about author life, and hey Kanu, it's about talking to various authors about their journey, writing their first book, or being, really experienced in writing a lot of them. And today I have Rajeshwari with me, who's going to be joining us really soon. Um, yep, she's here. 1 second.
Hi, Supriya.
Hey, hi. Hey, Raji, how are you?
I'm good. So good to, be talking to you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So it's really good to see you and talk to you, and you're doing such a great job. I'm not active on LinkedIn, so I don't see much of your videos, but whatever I see, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. So today it's less about me, more about you. And I was just telling these folks who are joining in that we're talking about your new book
Yeah.
and your process that you went about writing it. So folks who just, joined in and hey Bhavna. So Raji is a first-time author. I've known her for very long. We did our masters in finance together, and it's very strange that, both of us ended up writing a book instead of, sitting behind a desk and doing finance stuff. So, which is why I wanted to do the first episode in the series with Raji because, I sort of feel we would have a little bit of, corresponding stories about how we went about doing that. Uh, so just to give you a bit of a background, like I said, Raji is Masters in Finance. She's an avid reader. And currently she's talking to us from Canada,
Yeah.
where she lives with her husband and 2 kids. And in her own words, she loves to cook, sucks at jigsaw puzzles, and spends far too much time on social media. And she's a first time author. She's released her book called The American Dream recently. So, to begin with, Raji, tell us a little bit about your book. What's it all about? Give us a bit of a teaser.
Yeah, Supriya, first of all, let me tell you, it feels so good to be talking to you because, otherwise I would be so conscious. But I think I've known you for such a long time. And, like you two are an author, so I think we both can, sort of relate to this experience. So, yeah, so this is my first book. It's called The American Dream. And, so to tell you about the book, it's a very light fiction. It's a very, breezy sort of a novel, which sort of, like it's a really fast-paced book, and it falls in a genre of a sort of like a very, I wouldn't say a chick lit, but it's a very funny, hilarious read. So the plot starts from where this Indian family migrate to America. So this family, the lead protagonist Sonam, the entire book is in her voice, is a very wannabe, totally she's into all this pop culture. This entire book is pop culture packed because Sonam is such a huge fan from Sabyasachi to Kate Spade to, Michael Kors. She wants the entire American scene. So she's totally kicked to be going abroad to America, which is very understandable. So because I mean, most of them would like that uber glamorous, that sort of a country, to leave the country and going abroad, and to sort of her dream is to click pictures in, some exotic locales in America. And her husband is the one who's posted there on an IT job. and they have a 2-year-old son, Rahul. So the story starts from the airport where they leave to America, and each one has their own dream of making it big, the American dream, like which any person from an underdeveloped, shall I say that, country has. So once they reach America, Sonam, though she's been having such a high, hopes, she's the one who hits the maximum road bumps in America in terms of she's been a corporate banker in America for the last 8 years, in India for the last 8 years. And she expects to sort of continue her career in the downtown district of the financial district of America. But unfortunately, she's not able to land a job. She's struggling to be a stay-at-home mom. She's not able to cook. She can't understand the DIY culture. She's not able to adapt to the accent. She can't make friends. It's one road bump after the other. Whereas her husband, Raj, he glides into the American life. He loves the American life. He hits on like a house on fire with his colleagues. His boss loves him, his American boss. He enjoys the independent culture. He likes everything from Ziplocs to the American roads, So now this is how it goes. And there is a turning point in the story where it's been a year in America and Sonam is still not able to land a job. And it sort of rattles her, and she's also homesick. And this is a person who was so, sort of keen to come and experience the American life. And, this is, so now we have two parallel forces in the family. One, Sonam, who can't think of settling down in America, who wants to go back. And her husband, who, is like, who leaves America, and goes back to India. So, and stuck between this two couple is his 2-year-old son, Rahul. So though it sounds very dramatic and very serious, it's not. It's a very funny book, and you really love it. It's hilarious, and this Sonam has this very unique voice because the entire writing is in first person. It's not in third person. So she has this very soul-searching, sassy mouth, voice where she is, trying to make sense of everything what she's seeing in America and sort of come to terms with it. So it's so what happens to his family? Do they stay in America? Do they come back? Because he's on a fast track to get a citizenship in America, and she's like, I want to get back. So this is where the plot unravels. Yeah.
Right. It sounds very exciting. I've already ordered my copy, honestly, so I'm just waiting for it to arrive.
Yeah, I want to hear your feedback.
Yeah, I've been reading reviews, honestly, and I've been seeing obviously a lot of folks that we know also posting about it. So I'm very excited about my copy coming my way. I wish I could get a sign from you, but anyways.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a very interesting story. In fact, I can relate to it because I sort of have a friend from school who sort of went through the same, process. She was a radio jockey here in India, and she moved to London, and she wasn't able to find anything meaningful to do, and she spent a lot of time trying to figure out what she needs to do. Though now the story is very different. She's very successful. She's doing really well in an alternative career that she picked up. But
Yeah.
I guess it's going to be a very relevant book to a lot of people who've experienced this.
Yeah, no, I wanted to sort of tell that it takes a while to adjust to a new country. It's a lot of change. Eventually people settle down, it's not that they don't, but it takes some time. So I wanted to write about that. Why is my earphone falling? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's amazing. So I just wanted to, which was actually also my next question, So it's not easy to write a book, it's pages and pages and thousands of
Very
words.
tough. It's the toughest thing I've done in my life, Supriya.
Yeah, you have to make storyboards, you have to figure out where every character arc is going. So what inspired you to sit down and write it?
So I had lots of inspirations. So I think I want to talk about all of them, if you don't mind.
Yes,
So I came to America in 2014 with my family, and I think I struggled a lot, and I landed in Utah, and Utah is primarily a white country. 99% of the folks are white. So, I felt for the first 2 years, I wouldn't call it a painful experience, but it was a struggle for me. Because, it is a very steep learning curve. It's not one thing, it's not two things. You're getting used to the accent, the culture, the DIY. First of all, there are no maids. And then you have to learn driving. And, there's a lot of transition which takes place. And if you start working, you need to get used to your timings. It's a lot. And nobody talks about this. It's a struggle which every immigrant undergoes in the first 2 years, mentally and emotionally, because the feelings are so raw. You're missing home, you're sort of also, sort of like trying to get used to a new place. It's a struggle. And you're, at the end of the day, you're asking, like, why am I doing this? Why did I leave a very good setup with no family, friends, and I have come here to kind of get adjusted to a new place? So I think that sort of rattles you. So, that part of being an immigrant in a new country, I think I got it inspired from my own experiences. And like, like I can tell you once, there was this incident. I was in office, I think 6 months down in America, I got a job and my car was very low on gas. First of all, they call it gas over there and not petrol. So that's something you need to get used to it. So then, I took the car to the petrol pump, which was nearby. And this was during my lunch hour. So I needed to get back because there is a meeting over there. And Americans are very punctual and they're very, very particular about these lines. Coming from India, that was a little different for me because we are like, chalta hai sort of thing. So after standing in the line at the petrol pump for 20 minutes, I think my turn, and I reached the petrol pump. So there's no attendant. I need to get down and sort of what do you say? I need to put the pump into my own car. And, I realized when I got down that the hose is not reaching the fuel tank of my car. I have parked it in the wrong line. And I look back and there is still another 20 minutes of waiting. And I'm like, I'm low on gas. And, my day just got shittier. This struggle is so real. Like there's so many things, and nobody talks about this. But later when you talk to any immigrant or any friend, they will tell you, some really cry-worthy stories or some really funny stories what happened to them. So I wanted to put my finger on that nerve, which is that first 2 years a person takes to adapt to a new country because it's a lot of change and no one talks. So that was one of the primary inspirations because I used to always joke that why has nobody written a book about this? Because then I would feel I'm not alone who is doing all these goof ups in the new country. Like, so I think that was one of the main inspirations. And the other inspiration was because I read a lot, I have always wanted to write a book, Supriya. So, like unconsciously, I have been looking for stories, but nothing has clicked. And I always wanted to write about this, this very kick-ass heroine who's very comfortable in her own skin, sort of like, like she's very, like, this is me, accept me the way I am. Like, how many of us can actually do that? We have so many complexes. So, I wanted to write about this heroine who's like, yeah, I mean, this is me, and I have embraced myself with all my flaws, and I revel in it, sort of a thing. And there's a beauty in that, when you sort of love yourself the way you are, you inspire many more, and it shows. So I always wanted to write about that. So I got this thing in the plot. I kind of got these two inspirations and worked it in the plot. And the other thing, I know you will find it really funny, is like I told you, this book is in the first person. So it's Sonam who's talking. So the voice is very funny. It's very bubbly. It's a very vivacious. And like I told you, she's a very smart mouth talking woman, who has a sense of humor. And she's a wannabe. She wants everything in her life. She's an ambitious, very ambitious. So I think that voice, I got it from Geet in Jab We Met. So, so she is my very favorite character. It's a very favorite movie of mine because I love the way she's like, मैं अपनी favorite हूँ. Like, I think that was a very iconic movie and I still love it. So, when I started writing, I said, okay, I'm going to imagine her as my muse, and the writing started to flow. Like, if you don't mind, I'll just read one para of the prologue. It's not too long. I'll just show you. It's just this much. So
Go
you'll get
ahead.
an idea of how she, talks. It's not every day that your life changes with an email, but today it did. A life-altering shift. The more I thought about it, the more it seemed like a dream. Everything I'd heard, watched, and read is going to become a reality. It's good that I've spent my whole life in the right company. Archie's, Friends, Beverly Hills 90210, Gossip Girl, Disney, MTV, Soda, Miniskirts. I'm ready for the place in which I was truly meant to be. So from here, she goes to me like, I want to go home to India. So it's a story of this person. So yeah, I think it's funny, and that these are the main inspirations I got for the book.
Amazing. That sounds great. Was there, like, of course there's nothing better than writing from your own experience because, you put your heart and soul into it then. But of course, it's difficult being a first time author, right, to navigate all those challenges because you don't know the first thing about writing
Yeah,
books. So
yeah.
how was your experience of writing a book for the first time, and what were the challenges that you faced, while in the writing process, and how long did it take you?
So Priya, it was a very difficult thing to write. Like, I don't know whether you went through that, but I can tell you, like, I was this bundle of nerves, frustrated, it was like not coming out, in a sort of a smooth manner. Whereas when I started to write the book, I thought I'm going to be this author and, the words are just going to flow out and, I'm just going to finish it. But expectations versus reality was very different in terms of that. So yeah, I faced a lot of obstacles. I think the biggest obstacle would be the writing itself. Though I have read so many books, I never thought that writing is such a different. It's a very it's a totally different game altogether. There's no similarity between a reading and a writing a book. So I think lots of obstacles, like from the plot to get the pace of the plot. See, you want your book to be like a page turner. You want the person, you want the reader to be sort of very gripped to your novel. And, you know, to get that and to get the characterizations, like you said, to work in all the characters, to remember the details. And, like I said, I did not start off with a storyboard or I told you, like, author, I decided that, one day I'm going to write a book. I took the laptop and I started to type. And then I was like, this is not reading the way I want it to be. Why is it not happening? So the writing process itself was very tough because, I wanted it to be a certain way, like that this is how it's reading very different. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you able to hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
it's a bit, there's a bit of a disconnect. I think there's a connection issue, but I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I can hear you. I can actually see you. So I think the problem was the writing itself. Did you get that when I was talking, or should I
Yes.
repeat?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the
I got
writing
that.
itself, was quite, yeah. So that was one thing. And the other point was in my own mindset, which was pulling me down. Like I had this parallel thought that I'm putting in so many hours, I'm putting so much of effort. Writing is a lot of effort because it kind of consumes you, because you're all the
Yeah.
time thinking about the book. So, you're like, who's going to read this book? I'm doing it, but what is the result of it? That used to pull me down. What if no one buys it? What if nobody reads it? And the other thought was that of all the people who read it, how are they going to judge me in terms of, what I have written? Will it be like a joke or, will they say, oh, like I was very conscious of my writing. So 6 months down the line, after I started the book, I think I can tell you that I worked on the book for 16 months, out of which 12 months I worked on my own plot, and 4 months was for editing and cleanup and everything. So 12 months I properly worked on the plot. And out of that, I can tell you that I was very conscious. So 6 months down the line, when I read my story, it was reading like this diplomatic, like there was nothing, there was no ups, there was no down. I was so conscious of bringing out the intimacy, bringing out the emotions. I said, this is not the way a book is written, So I said, let me close this because I don't have the guts to write this book, I'm not bold enough. But then, later on, I just couldn't give up the book. And I said, okay, I will write the book only for my own private reading. I will just write it so that I can read it at leisure whenever I want. I'll just keep it, a copy. That's when I got the boldness, or I was sort of had the guts to kind of write the book, to sort of, see it through. Otherwise, I was so conscious to write anything, to write the intimacy, to write the struggle. I was like, oh, how is she going to judge me? I said, damn everyone, I'm just going to write the book. And, I think that truly helped me. Those were the main obstacles I saw.
I think that is also a very, distinct difference between writing fiction versus writing like a self-help kind of a book. Because in self-help books, like the one that I've been working on now, you can do a lot of research, you can, talk to a lot of people, and you can put their viewpoints together, and you have a book ready. But to write fiction, it's like all in your head. You're building that story plot, you're trying to, write in multiple voices, it's not your own voice. So I think that's
Exactly.
that's a very difficult
Yeah.
process
And
itself.
the
So
dialogues, yeah.
yeah, I have never been able to write dialogue. Honestly, I'm terrible at it. In fact, my sister told me once, and she's there on the live chat, when I had written a travel story, but like everywhere I go, unfortunately, there is some natural disaster that follows. First time I went to the US, Hurricane Sandy struck. I went to Havelock. I got stuck in Varada. I went
Don't
to
say this
Mumbai.
online.
Yeah, and this time I was supposed to go to Europe, and now we're in the middle of coronavirus. So, like, I have this horrible, horrible thing about travel, and so I wanted to write my experiences from a travel standpoint, and I wrote it. Like, I wrote some 3,000 words, and I put dialogue in it and everything, and I gave it to my sister to read, and she made such a face, like, please don't don't write dialogue,
But
stick to
Supriya, your writing is very bold because I have been following you for so many years. I know that you're not conscious. You tell it as it is. And you are one of my inspirations. Like, I used to think that, she's so bold to say it as it is. So why am I so scared? Like, why am I so conscious? See, you don't know how many people you're affecting around you. So, yeah.
Thank you. But that somehow doesn't translate to dialogue. So that's where I just fall flat. So just like a caution, word of caution, if I ever write fiction, please don't read it. It's gonna be not
Yeah, and my editor would be like, get into the character, get into the character. And I'm like, how do I get into this character? Because I hope I don't get like a multiple personality disorder because I'm already thinking about the character so much. I hope I don't
yeah.
become Sonam one day. Like,
So yeah, it's very, different writing these kind of books. So I mean, did you follow like a writing like you said, people told you get into the character. So did you follow a writing process? And
yes,
a lot of
I
people
did.
say, write n number of words a day. So what was your formula?
Yeah, I actually did that. So the first day I started writing the book, the first day I wrote for 12 hours a day continuously for 2 weeks. And then I landed up with a bad backache and I was so burnt out. I was like, and the book was not even reading well. The draft was nowhere reading well. So I said, if this is what it's going to take to write a book, it's not me. So, then from then on, I think I decided that I will not work for more than 4 hours a day, but I wrote words as it came and I would edit the next day what I had written the previous day. So I would just write it and leave it and look at what I have written the previous day and sort of self-edit it myself to know what I have tried to write. But here, actually, see, I'm a novice author, Supriya. I don't know anything about the inner workings of a book. So like I told you, I just took out the laptop one day and I started typing. And, things were not going well. Like the first draft, I finished it in 2 months and it was not reading so well. So here, I had a family friend. I have a family friend who's a writer. She's Mrs. Kalpana Nagnur, who happens to be my family friend, and she writes very well. Like, she writes her sort of style of writing is very stately and very, sort of very high class sort of. So I was very hesitant to ask anyone because, I don't know whom to ask or what should I do. So, I was like, okay, let me just ask her, let me just send her the draft. But I was so, like, so scared inside to send a draft because it was very laughable, but not in a nice way. Like, it was really sort of, I don't know. So I sent it to her. So she sent back a lot of tips, which I followed religiously. Like one of the tips was, like, I had this very weird idea that I'm going to finish this manuscript in 3 months or 4 months, and I'm going to send it for publishing. That's what, was my viewpoint. So, I think the first thing Auntie busted for me was that, you cannot put a timeline on a book because it's a maturity of feelings and thoughts, like you need to have that. But I'm a very impatient person. Like today, if I write something, I want it to be out there and everybody telling that it's a very good book. It's a bestseller. You've done a good job. So I didn't have that patience in me. So I was like, I'm not going to sit with this book like for such a long time. But eventually I did. But the point was that at that time, it was like there is no timeline. That was the first thing. So you need to sort of get that out of your mind that, okay, I'm going to finish this. It's a process. You need to enjoy that process. You don't know what is the outcome of it, what's going to happen. We don't know, because everybody wants it to be a bestseller like Chetan Bhagat. When I started it also, I wanted it to be a 5 point someone. But what actually is the outcome? That's the beauty of writing. You don't know what it is. And the that was the first tip she gave me. The second one was that, work on your manuscript and then keep it away for a couple of days. So what I would do was, like, out of the 12 months, which I told you, which I worked on my plot, 4 months I didn't look at the manuscript, not together, like sporadically. So I would work on it, keep it away, work on it, keep it away. So what that helped me to do was sort of refresh my brain, because I was so into that book, like I had gone in, and somewhere it sort of, it starts playing a havoc on you, because you're reading the same 75,000 word document continuously. It gets kind of monotonous, it gets depressing. So, what I would do is I would work on one draft and I would keep it away for like 3 weeks or a month. And then I would go back and read it with fresh eyes. So what happens, whether you have done the scene well, you have done a job well, or maybe you need to add something to it, or you need to take away something from it. So, that is, I think, a very, very brilliant point, which I would tell everybody to do. It sort of gives you a break. You're playing a game with your mind, sort of a thing. And I think the last tip which I followed, and I would tell all the writers, and which I have seen you also doing, is, she would send me all these short story competitions and essay competition, and tell me that, just write, enter, give me a blog of 2,000 words. She would encourage me. And at that time I used to wonder why she's doing this, because I want to be this novelist and I don't want to be a blogger. But now when I see, the beauty in starting small is that you have a certain number of words, you have a particular topic, and, you're more focused. So your style of writing, your writing and the words become very honed. Your style of writing emerges when you write a small blog or a short blog, compared to a
Yeah,
novel where you're all over the place.
true.
So I think that when I started writing short story words, I started enjoying myself, and it kind of improved my writing also. So these are the things which I followed very religiously. Yeah.
I, I think there are really, really great tips that's there. I also believe write a little bit at a time, figure out what is it that you need to get that direction into, and go back and check over it. Sometimes when I write pages and pages and I go back and I'm like, oh my God, this is complete rubbish. And then, you have to redo the whole thing again. But I'll also say, because I edit a lot of books for people. So I have a
Mm,
lot of clients who are writing books and I
mm,
edit for them. It's always good to have a third person perspective, like you went to your family friend to get
mm.
their view, right? Because sometimes it happens, and it happens to all of us, right? And I write so much, not just from books perspective, but otherwise also, and you start feeling that your writing is amazing because you've done
Dude.
it. And, and then, like I said, when I gave it to my sister and she was like, it's complete rubbish. So you get that third person perspective, whether a reader is also going to, enjoy it or not. So my last question for the day
Yeah.
is about tips and advice, and I know you've covered some of that already, but a
Yeah.
lot of people have this dream of writing a book, and especially today with self-publishing being very accepted, and being a preferred way of
Publishing
becoming an
books.
author. Yeah, a lot of people are writing their books. So what would you recommend to these budding authors? What is it that they should keep in mind? Any tips, advice, sources that they can refer to do a good job the first time around?
So I think the first thing, like I said, there's no timeline on writing this book. There's no assured guarantee that this is going to be a bestseller. It's very nice to, start with that motivation of writing a great book, but nobody is going to tell you how it's going to pan out. So, it's there in the process when you realize that you're writing for the love of writing itself. You need to enjoy that, because there were so many times I would get up in the morning and say, this is it. I'm no more writing that book. I'm done. And again in the night, I would be at my laptop, typing and, sort of trying to work on it. It's that burning desire to tell a story. It's like you need to have that. It's a passion. Like, I think you know me, I'm pretty chilled out. So this is the first time I've had passion for something. Otherwise, I'm the first person to give up on something and be like, no, this is not my cup of tea. But I think this is the first time I was like, no, I want to work on it and, sort of I was very, I had my moments of frustration where I was really, really, irritated. It was not happening. The plot was not coming together. And, I would be like, there is so much media out there everywhere. Why is it not happening for me? Why is it not coming together for me? But that's a very natural process, Supriya. It happens to every author, and I think everybody will go through that. It's a transition phase, and you just need to keep at it, and things will come together. Anybody can write when you have a story to tell. That's the first thing which I would want to say. And second is, it's very good to be inspired by others and by everybody's writing. But I think what actually sort of brings a unique flavor to your book is your own sort of, your own unique flavor to it. Like whatever you think, or it could be the small funny things, or what you have noticed, or the characterizations. I think that makes it very different and very enjoyable for anybody. So that's what, like
Very
I
nice.
would, yeah.
Amazing. So I'm sure a lot of people who joined in would take a lot of these, tips back because, and like you said, everybody has a book in them. It's just, everybody has a story to tell. And when you do have that, a book is just a matter of time. So it's definitely going to come out someday. So thank you so much for talking to us today. Uh, Tell us where to find your book because, of course, I mean, I've ordered my copy already, but I'm sure a lot of people would also want to order it. Where can they find it?
Yeah, so it's available on Notion Press here, and you get this paperback on Notion Press, and it's available on Amazon, and also you get this book online on Amazon.in, Amazon.com, Kindle, and Kobo, and it's there everywhere. You just need to go and type in The American Dream by Rajeshwari Nukla, and you can find a copy of this book. And yeah, I mean, can you hear me?
Sorry, Raji, I lost you a bit. On Kobo and where else?
Kobo, Kindle, Amazon for the online copies, e-copies. And if you want the paperback itself, you can go to Amazon.in. But because of COVID, there are some restrictions on printing. So you can
Yeah.
order it from Notion Press, or sorry,
Mm-hmm.
Notion Press, or you can, just go to these online thing and you can buy it. And if you buy it on Notion Press, they have this read instantly button where the book opens up right in front of your eyes. So you can just read it.
Amazing. So actually, those of you, if you've not bought the book yet, I would strongly recommend you grab a copy. And for those listening to this segment, Rajeshwari has a nice giveaway and a discount planned. So the giveaway is you go to her profile, which is the American Dream underscore a book on Instagram. There's a post about this giveaway. Like the post, tag a friend in comments, and she'll pick out a winner based on, a random lucky draw, and they'll be getting a copy of her book. If you can't wait that long, then she has a 20% discount for you. So you can go to any of the platforms she just mentioned and type,
No, no,
say,
Notion Press.
on
Only on
Notion
Notion,
Press.
yes.
Yeah, for a print copy, sorry. So
Yeah,
you go to
paperback.
Notion Press and you put the coupon code SALE15, that is SALE 15, and you can get a 20% discount on your paperback copy.
Yes.
So I'd say go ahead, grab a copy, and happy reading about the American Dream.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening in
Thank you,
today.
Sue.
This was, yeah, and thanks, Raji. This was Author Life, and we will be back again very soon talking to another author about their journey. It was amazing talking to you, Raji. Thank you so much for your time
Same
today.
here. Thank you so much for this opportunity, Super. It was so good to reconnect. I would never have imagined this having this conversation back in college.
I know. Well, it was great. Thank you.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks. Bye.
See
Bye.
you. Bye. Bye.